Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings,
Why are you listening to this show?
the podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
What are you laughing about? I mean, just the timing of our executive producer?
I'm laughing at you, laughing at his timing.
It's just perfect.
It was mwah.
Yeah, just
Chef's kiss.
didn't tell me what he was doing, didn't inform me, just barreled on ahead.
You should get a divorce, Chris.
Yeah, there it is. Another checkbox. Tony, you're on the
last one, yeah.
on deck.
David Samson is with us now. Nothing Personal is the name of his podcast. There are a number of different things that I wanted to talk to him about today, inside and outside of sports. But he made Zaslow's dreams come true. Zaslow feels like he's on a heater ever since David Samson, and he made a bet, a giant bet, that now ends with the Heat producing the last good thing they did this season, really, in terms of getting Zaslow work here, paid work here, and tickets 2 nights to Pearl Jam that our audience is sick of hearing about. So you guys want to hug each other here.
Hello, David.
And be grateful for your newfound friendship. I don't know what your relationship was before this.
None.
Were you somebody who said a lot of bad things about David Sampson's ownership of the Marlins?
No. And especially because I was always for the stadium. There's a stadium here, so now we have baseball. Team sucks, but there's baseball here forever now. David had a major part to do with that, so I've never said bad things, no.
I'm not sure I recollect it that way, but I do know that I enjoyed watching you at the Pearl Jam concert. The only issue I had, Zaz, and we talked about whether we should stand at concerts when we did show together last week, but what I didn't realize is that I was not going to hear Eddie Vedder the entire night. All I heard was your voice. Every word, every song in my ear, and I didn't know what to do. I thought of an elbow. I thought of earplugs. I thought of switching seats, but I didn't have a seat. It was a whole Megillah, but your voice is mediocre.
Why didn't you have a seat?
Because Le Batard is outrageous. Do you understand what happened? What happened is we had tickets, and they were hard tickets, actual tickets, not on the phone. Tickets were distributed to each of the people in our party about an hour and a half prior to the concert. When it came time to enter the venue and show the ticket, Dan Le Batard says, "Sorry, I can't find my ticket." He lost his ticket, which would have kept him out of the concert. He was there for his wife, for her birthday. So my girlfriend has to go looking in a casino for his ticket. Doesn't find it. And I'm forced to get him in because I knew security people at the concert.
By the way, that was so impressive. David made a phone call and a guy came out and we're okay, even though Dan doesn't have a ticket, to maybe the toughest ticket I've ever seen down here.
So Dan gets into the concert. There are 8 of us for only 7 tickets. So we squeeze in, and all of a sudden, there's this guy standing where our seat is. And no one else said a word. Dan is just sort of standing there with his eyes half open. And I said, excuse me, this is not your seat. And what does this man do?
Oh, he showed the ticket?
He showed the ticket. That was Dan's ticket.
Because who else has a physical ticket? Like, obviously, it's Dan's ticket.
He found it on the floor of a slot machine or a craps table. And he said, oh, I guess I've got a ticket to the concert. And he shows up, legitimate ticket, goes to his seat. And I look like a jackass because I said to the guy who actually was quite built and quite strong. And it was sort of a Giannis Halliburton situation. I said, this is not your seat. And he shows me the ticket. And I had to do tail between the legs and turn around and do a 180.
Oh, you got to call him out. You got to be like, no, you just found that. These are our 8 seats.
Hold on. I have some follow-up questions. David, you said the tickets were distributed an hour and a half before showtime. Who distributed the paper tickets?
I did.
Oh, that's your fault.
Well, why?
Because if it were someone else, I would say, well, they wouldn't know any better. But you knew better, man. You gave Dan a physical ticket. You trusted Dan in that? Really?
It's fair.
No, KYP, know your personnel.
Give it to Valerie.
I'm not going to enable that sort of behavior. You've got to be able to hold on to a ticket. And this is, of course, after I'd run into Dan only 45 minutes before that with $5 chips falling out of his hand because he was the guy who, color change? Oh, no, I'm okay here. So
walked away with $100. Well, probably more than $100 worth, but just just arms full of $5 chips.
KYP, man. If I want to give Dan something, I give it to Valerie. I give it to Mike. I give it to anybody else. I don't give it to Dan.
I refuse to take any blame in this. What I know is that I had to share one seat with Kara, and it was fine because we're both relatively small. But you have to picture sharing one seat next to Zaslow, who, by the way, very impressive, knows every word to every song.
So a ruinous experience for David Samson to have to sit next to Zaslow after helping Zaslow and everyone secure these tickets. I have no defense for anything that is in my face other than utter shame because I'm an idiot. And while his girlfriend was looking for the ticket, I was just standing there paralyzed in fear. When he says my eyes were half open, it's because I've ruined my wife's birthday because I'm a toddler who can't be trusted with a paper ticket.
No, hold on, Dan. Were you paralyzed with fear, or was there any other substance that was paralyzing you?
Okay,
Objection, Your Honor.
I understand. That's not even an objection. I understand this idiocy would have to be drugged, but no. It's perfectly sober. It's just
him.
It's just I'm that sloppy on the details. And so let me just cover a few different things here. Do you know how humiliating it is to be standing there and a man produces a ticket I know to be mine, and he has proof that he belongs in that seat, and I do not. And I know that's my ticket.
So it was an aisle seat? Because if the guy claimed the third seat from the end, that's incredible. And he just sat in the middle of all of you.
Was this an end seat?
No.
This is insane. You guys didn't call this guy out.
Hold on a second. So he sat in the middle of your group?
No, he sat at the end. He sat at the fringes of our group next to me seething that he had my stolen ticket. But if I called security, though, the only person who got in illegally was me.
I get that he has that ticket, so he's going to get to stay. But you at least can call him out on the shame of, we know you just found that ticket.
We did that.
Okay.
That was done.
Okay, I just
that
want
was
to make
done.
sure.
Both me, my wife said it to him, and so did Samson. Samson also said it to him.
David, you have a law degree. I'm sure you're familiar with the Supreme Court case, People versus Maxwell Santos. Finders keepers, losers weepers.
And possession is 9/10 of the law.
That too.
Just looking at
we
this
had
guy,
zero standing, but I will point out that what did happen during the course of the concert when I had Zaslow in my left ear, I was glaring far more not toward Eddie Vedder. I was glaring at this guy the entire time. I was dressing him down.
Some good side eye. Love some good side eye.
Oh, it was some good side eye.
Well, not only was it good side eye, I will say this on behalf of the side eye. This was a show for old time. And he left about 7 or 8 songs in because of whatever it was our withering stares from the side of our eyes was doing to him.
Maybe he found a better seat.
That's possible. Found some other idiot who lost a better seat.
There was no better seat, I would point out, which we did for Zaslow and for Dan, you and your wife. But he left what I perceive to be in shame because of all the side eyes. But he did get the first hour of a Pearl Jam concert in really good seats. And I'd like to go through what was in his mind upon finding this ticket when all over Hard Rock were people saying, you got one? Anybody got one? You got two? I got. People were trying to buy tickets, and there was not one ticket available. And there comes row N, like right perfect, right. It's like manna from heaven. And he says, what do I do with this? And the guy goes to the concert, doesn't sell it, doesn't return the ticket, which of course is what in a dream world you would do, is say, oh, I think somebody dropped this. That didn't quite happen. He just went into the venue.
How do we know he didn't flip the ticket? Maybe the guy that you guys are talking to who's in that seat actually bought it off of someone who scalped it. How are you so sure that it wasn't?
He knows what he did.
I love where your head's at. Because he left, I thought of that during the show. If he had stayed the whole time and like wanted a selfie with Dan because he happened to buy a ticket that he found himself right next to the biggest celebrity, second biggest behind Chelios, but the one of the biggest celebrities in the crowd, I assume he would have wanted an autograph, maybe a photo.
I mean, David, you remember I was next to you, right?
Yeah. Give me a player comp on this guy. Who did this guy look like?
He looked like Tony from Survivor 28, the winner of the season.
Not helpful in any way. Go more obscure. Go
he was
more
just
obscure.
on the traders.
He looks like my friend Manuel. I think useless, uselessly helpful. Nobody
Tony's
here watches
star,
what
man.
you're talking.
You don't know Tony.
Thank you. That's fine.
Not you.
That's fine that you guys.
I don't think this guy did anything wrong. If I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, he found a ticket. He used the ticket.
I'm the guy.
What's he supposed to do? Walk around? Dan Batard, did you lose a ticket? Dan?
I'm the guy who did the wrong thing. I'm not blaming him for anything other than he didn't have a story for the ticket when confronted by two people. The back and forth was, that's not your ticket. And his response was, yes, it is. And that's all he had.
He's right.
Got your ass.
That's all he had.
Got some Vin Diesel.
Not all he
vibes.
had. He also had the ticket.
Vin Diesel vibes for this guy.
Yes, there was some Vin Diesel to him as well, but that was irrelevant. He got smaller and smaller as the night got on because he was ashamed, because he knew we had turned on our phone lights on his ticket, and that wasn't his ticket. And he knew it wasn't his ticket, and we knew it wasn't his ticket.
And it wasn't just one phone light. What we did is we sort of surrounded him, and each of us had our phone lights on it. And then we were looking at the other tickets, making sure that it was numerically in order. It was so obvious that he had done something that he should not have done because he didn't own up to it. I would have respected if he had just said, dude, I found this on the ground. I didn't know it was yours, but now it's mine. He stayed silent, other than to say it's my ticket.
He wasn't expecting to be confronted. That part is true. Again, though, I'm the idiot, and I had to sit next to that. I had to sit next to stewing in my own shame.
Like staring
and David's wondering why my eyes are half closed. It means accusing me of substances. No, it's my shame has filled up to my nose, and I can no longer keep my eyes open.
I just want to reiterate again, this is all David's fault. You don't hand Dan something. You don't hand Dan something.
You are incapable of accountability. This is Halliburton's. This is security's fault, not Halliburton's dad.
But you're incapable of accountability. You lost the ticket.
It is. I'm saying it's my fault. What kind of accountability? Like, there's nobody's fault here but mine.
No, I mean, there's something happened before you lost it, which is David handed it to you. Clearly, David is the genesis.
Yeah. Why was David's girlfriend tasked with finding the ticket?
She just ran in a emergency situation and just disappeared. I looked around. Why do you think I was paralyzed with fear? Because my life was coming apart. And I was weak in the knees, and so she sprung into action. And nobody else was moving except for David, who's another springer into action, who immediately rushes in another direction to make sure to get security.
Okay, now here's my question. Let's assume for a second that David's magic with the security wasn't going to happen. Yeah. Like, hey, no ticket, no entry, case closed. What were you going to do as a group?
Play 2.5 hours of slots by myself.
No, not true. Because we already discussed it, that Kara would not have gone to the concert. It was your moment with your wife for her birthday, and that she would have given up her ticket.
I was thinking Zaslow's kid. I was thinking Zaz's kid doesn't go.
It crossed my mind that I may be the one that's out.
Hold on a second. Dan loses his ticket, and immediately it's like David Samson's girlfriend has to go to find the ticket, and if you don't, You're not going to the concert.
That's the first.
That's crazy.
Hold on. That's the first I'm hearing of that. That was not brought in any way.
It's going to lead to another divorce.
This was not. This is the first I'm hearing of that. That is. I don't know whether that's true or not. That can't be true.
Oh, yeah, no, we had the conversation. Oh, so much happened, Dan, while you were
Frozen.
here. You have to understand what Dan was
Paralyzed with
doing.
fear. Yes,
There were
paralyzed with
7
fear.
people staring at him saying, where's your ticket?
That's right. I mean, searching
His wife was
pockets
getting
that-
anxious.
And
He's
hold on. And searching pockets that had proven to be empty the previous 27 times.
The old third check. The old third check. Let me make sure.
No. Hold on. I want you to see how alone I was in a teeming crowd full of people. Giant amounts of people rushing to get in. Also, I was pretty cocky 20 minutes earlier that we would all get there on time. There would be no problem. I had my pockets inside out. They had been rummaged through all of them 27 times by the time I realized his girlfriend had fled the premises, and now it's getting worse because now everyone's panicking because they've realized, Dan's been Dan.
Wait, I have a question. So, David, you naturally would have sat out the concert if your girlfriend didn't go, correct?
No.
Okay.
No. Only one of us had to sit out. It wouldn't have been both of us.
I mean, that is a scavenger hunt that she was on with incredibly high stakes.
That's why she ran. She knew.
I just realized why it is that she ran into action right now, because you'd had that conversation before.
Because it was her ticket that she was looking for the concert.
You have to understand what was happening because time was standing still, because Dan had a lot of pockets. He also was going through his wallet. He still has this old-fashioned wallet with a bunch of different slots in it.
There was a valet card from like 6 weeks ago.
You're checking pockets.
Maybe they'll scan this and let me in.
You're checking pockets you would never put a ticket in. You're like, all right, this is no way it's here, but I'm just going to search
looking for pockets I'm unaware that I have on my
looking
pants
for
and
sub
stuff.
pockets in the pocket. You know, sometimes you get those.
That little coin
did
pocket
it more
in
than
your
once.
jeans?
Not more. No, I did. Look, trust me. I was counting. It was
That little jean pocket.
Listen,
You're like, how'd it get in
this
there?
is what I'm telling you. Okay, the Panthers scored 2 goals. Okay. And I was still searching my body long after 11 seconds. Like I felt like an entire third period of hockey feeling my body. It was a long period of time that I felt alone with this. And I was going to go sit and play slots.
And everyone is panicked except my girlfriend, who's out looking for the ticket. I'm making sure that we can get Dan in, because you have to understand the background of this whole Pearl Jam concert. This was a major thing for Valerie's birthday, and it was crumbling in front of our very eyes because Dan lost the ticket, and the show was about to start because we had inside information that at 8:49 is when lights are out and when it starts. And Zaslow wants to be there. Valerie wants to be there. And Dan is standing
Dan's
there.
inside out with his pockets in the middle of the Hard Rock. Okay, we've had about enough of this.
And meanwhile, my son is like, what's the holdup here?
Yes, and your son would have been, I think, the one that would have been the loser.
That's what
in
I'm
this
saying.
scenario. Your son would have been playing.
The holdup is you're going to wait here, and we're going to be back in a couple hours.
Yes. Now, I do need to call Zaslow on some fraudulence here real quick, because it's being pointed out to me by sources that Zaslow should tell David how it is that he first described David Samson to his son.
Oh, I mean, I think I told David this the other day. My son, a few weeks ago when I started making appearances here with you guys, and look, my son is not impressed with what we do for a living, but
shouldn't be.
But his friends will show him, hey, look, it's your dad. He's on Dan Le Batard's show. And my son's like, all right, who cares? And then they'll show him comments, and my son told me, he's like, hey, everyone's saying really nice things about you from the Le Batard show. I'm like, don't worry, that'll even out. And then he says, you know who everyone hates? That Samson guy.
Right. Well, there was something else, though. You also called him the liar who built the city for millions.
That's not true.
Find the sound for me. It is.
Find this sound.
Find that sound. I will wait forever.
Okay. No, it's 100%
right next to
true.
Dan's
It's
ticket,
100% true. No, I'm going to find it. No, I'm going to find it. Unleash the
find
chickens
it.
right
Like
now.
someone's recording Zazzow's private conversations with his son?
I wasn't offended.
I'm told by informed sources that you absolutely described Samson that way on our air. You did that. Everyone heard it. You're taking it back because you're a fraud. I got you, Dad. I'm here for you. You're a fraud like you are with Windhorse. Like you are with Windhorse. We're chickens. Like you are. Like when we're gone. You're a fraud. You say things and then aren't accountable. Also be a chicken.
A lot of things I heard there are true, actually.
I love when Dan's alone as a chicken.
I don't love it so much. I got to tell you, it's a little more vulnerable than I would like it to be. It's an unpleasant thing to do alone. I'm going to be honest about that.
Hey, you in the audience, it's Mike. You've been a fan of this show, hopefully, for a long time, and you know how much Miller Lite means to me. This partnership, it's real. It's documented. For almost 20 years, Miller Lite has been a partner of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugatz, and now Miller Lite is celebrating its 50th anniversary. I've had so many great moments with Miller Lite, so many great activations, so many great events presented by Miller Lite, a great partner. Cheers to them. Cheers to 50 incredible years. And for you at home, you know that Miller time always means a good time. From game night to parties with friends or a special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Hey, it's Roy, and at the ripe old age of 40, I'm gearing up to learn how to play hockey. I emphasize ripe old age of 40 because I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm tired all the time. I haven't been working out as much. So I'm going to need to build muscle and have the energy to accomplish this goal. What's going to help is this drink that I've been enjoying lately called Huel. It tastes great and has been helping me while exercising. You'll enjoy it too. New customers visit Huel.com/Dan today and use my code DAN to get 15% off your first order plus a free gift.
The Huel Black Edition Ready to Drink
is high in protein with 35 grams, it's low in sugar, and it has 27 vitamins and minerals to help build the rest of your body. It's better and cheaper than any cup of coffee. Don't feel like cooking? Grab a bottle of Huel. It tastes great, so you'll definitely love it. Be a new customer today and visit Huel.com/Dan. Use code DAN and you'll get 15% off your first order plus a free gift.
Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan, and if you're watching our show, you've probably known your boy has undergone a little bit of a body transformation, and I gotta tell you, Peloton has helped me on my fitness journey. It got the ball rolling for me because I watch my wife on the Peloton. She takes all these great classes. She has her favorite instructors. I listen to the music. I'm a big music guy. It gets me fired up, makes me want to take part in this fitness phenomenon known as Peloton. Peloton offers a variety of challenging classes, from 4-week strength building classes to running, cycling, and everything in between. Peloton will help you achieve your goals, and maybe you'll have some fun along the way. I know I have. It's backed by thousands of members whose lives have been changed. Be part of that group. Telling you, I'm better for it. Have it in my office. Sometimes I can put on the baseball game. Sometimes I can put on a soccer match. Some other times I'm totally locked in on an emo playlist. Find your push. Find your power with Peloton at onepeloton.com.
Dan Le Batard.
John Zaslow, how you love that catchphrase. Bad news for opposing teams in the AAA.
Stugatz.
He's all smiles till LeBron's a clutch again, clutch again, clutch again.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz.
David Samson, you've been firing everybody. You say the Heat have to clean house, and this is getting... Chris, I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know how the group feels about this. It got loud from one day to the next nationally on Fire Riley.
The national stuff doesn't bother me. Heat fans need to back off, Riley. Yes. You guys are ingrates. Not like you go be a Hornets fan. Wow. All right, look, I'm not saying it's good. It's as bad as it's been in a long time, but I'm gonna ride it out with the Godfather as long as he wants to do it, and he's earned that. And I love this team. I just hate that Heat fans. It's just gross. This guy has given you so much joy, and he gives you like 2 seasons in a row that are a little subpar, and you lose it with him. I'm just done with it.
Samson, you've been firing Riley the last couple of days.
Well, I simply, it's not about firing Pat. It's about him understanding that it's time. And it's a tough thing when you've got someone like Pat Riley because he's never going to get fired by Mickey Arison. We know that is true. But at some point, you have to do a self-evaluation and say that what we're doing simply is not working. And the way we've constructed this roster is not working. And adding a third star to Bam and Hero, that is not going to be enough. And you therefore have to admit it. And I think it's time. And frankly, Spoelstra looked terrible. We talk about the fact that he acknowledged how embarrassed he was. He just, for whatever issues he's having on or off the court, he looks beaten. And many managers, this happens to them, and coaches, it happens to them. It's a really hard job. The Popoviches are really few and far between. It is time, I believe, for a fresh start in Miami and a fresh set of eyes and ears and voices. And that's not an indictment, Chris Cody, at all. It's been the greatest run you've had, dare I say, in South Florida sports.
It is an
history.
indictment. How can it not be an indictment? How is that not
because
an indictment?
all runs come to an end,
okay,
Dan.
But is that not it's an indictment. You're saying they should be fired, taking employment from them. You say their careers should end in the disgrace of you're no longer good enough to work here. What do you mean it's not an indictment?
Because all runs come to an end. And that's just a fact. And for people not to recognize that or realize that, it's like holding on to a 6th grade T-shirt in the top shelf of your closet and singing Glory Days.
David, considering how many times Riley over the 30 years here has been able to remake this team and have success, why would you believe that he can't do it here?
Because I believe that his time has passed. And that's not an ageist thought. It's actually... I don't want to spoil this. I'm not going to be irresponsible and be a journalist in this way. I will only say this, that what owner's job is at the end of the day, it's not to make fans happy. It's not to have great ballparks with great concessions. What an owner's job is to win while the value of their asset increases. That's it. And what Mickey Arison has done is both. But when one stops, which is the winning, the Heat were a 10 seed, a below 500 team. They are overmatched. Forget what you think happened in the Cavaliers series and how pissed off Poppy is. They have no path to competitiveness with this current administration and this current team. And as an owner, you've got to recognize
the path is get Giannis.
No. Giannis himself will not make a difference for this Heat team.
What?
Who are you going to get? Wait a minute. Are you getting Giannis as a free agent?
Just getting Giannis. You get Giannis, you're an instant contender.
But what do you have to get rid of
what,
to get
Milwaukee? Mediocre?
You get Giannis, you're an instant contender.
Mediocre. Not good enough.
I just don't understand. What can a potential new regime apparently do to make this team set on the right path that you believe that this current regime can't do?
I'm going to tell you, Zaz, it's the ability to actually rebuild, which the Heat have never been willing to do. They've never been willing to understand that you may have to take 3 steps back and not be in the middle. Pat Riley would tell you himself, being a 10 seed or a 7 seed it's the worst place to be in any sport.
All right, this is what's happening right now, Samson. I'm sorry, but Jeremy is stomping around in the studio saying he just wants to fire everybody and he doesn't know anything about the sport he's talking about.
I just think that deciding that firing everyone is always the solution has been proven by organization after organization after organization to not be the best thing for organizations. So if you have a front office with a proven track record of creating teams from nothing over and over and over again, the team that they had the year before they acquired Jimmy Butler was pretty terrible. The future was Justice Winslow, Josh Richardson, Derek Jones Jr., and that was it. And they turned that into Jimmy Butler. So I'm not saying that they will do that again in terms of star acquisition, but when you're in a place where you have an all-NBA center and an all-star guard who are both in their 20s, I don't think that you're at this point of total destruction when you have all of these picks laid ahead of you for the very first time in, 2 decades? Like, I think you're in the place that you would want a front office to be to move forward.
And I think your delusion is that you think that Bam and Tyler are the centerpieces of a championship team.
I have no reason to believe that those guys can't be part of a core that goes to and wins championships because they have been part of a core that has gone to multiple championships in the last 5 years alongside another elite player. they need to acquire another elite player. I'm not saying that they don't need to in order for those guys to be able to win a championship. They would say that themselves, that they need another guy to be able to win a championship. But that doesn't mean that those two players who have proven who they are, especially Bam Adebayo, can't be a centerpiece of a championship organization.
I mean, David, you want these guys fired when they've been to the finals 2 of the last 5 years. Only one other team has done that, and that's the Celtics.
I'm trying to think of the NBA coaches who have won championships who don't have jobs now. What's that stat, Jeremy? I believe that every NBA coach of a champion in the last 4 years, I think one still has the job.
I think it's
I may
five.
have
I think
it
five,
wrong.
maybe. I think it's 5 out of 6.
Most of them have been fired within 3 years, like 3 of the last 5 or something like that, 4 of the last 5.
And that's after winning. The Heat.
But you're holding that up like that should be the standard? Oh, we should do that. Let's try to fire.
That's organizations failing. That's not the standard that you want. You want consistency. I mean, an organizational reputation has to be part of that, no?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, David, like they said, you're bringing that up as something supporting your argument. You're actually supporting Jeremy's argument that like all these teams are just chickens chasing their tails without their heads cut off, and the reality is
have a tail?
Yeah, chickens have a tail.
Chasing it without the head or with the head?
Yo, chicken.
There it is.
Go ahead, Dan. No one asked me. Now I'm alone again.
But yeah, the point is there is a value to organizational stability, and when you know that the people doing the job are not they're not bad at their job, right? We know that Pat Riley is good at his job.
They know how to do this.
We know Eric Spoelstra is great at his job, one of the greatest ever. Why are we going to say, well, someone's got to go? That's just such a reactionary kind of way. To me, that's kind of where the Phoenix Suns are, where it's just like, oh, it didn't work. Everyone, you get out of here and trade some more people. And all that kind of panicky is why it's not what it should be.
I don't think that anyone would say if the Heat move on from 1 or 2 of Bam, Tyler, Pat, or Eric that they're being panicky. I just don't think that would be the narrative surrounding those moves.
I would say, this is what I would say. The players is a different story. Because players, you could say this player is great and he's done a lot of things for us, but the only way for us to get better is for us to acquire someone else. So in the case of Bam and Tyler or Tyler, if Giannis is on the table, like, you can't be like, oh, but I like Tyler. You got to go because Giannis is something special, something elite, something rare, right? But when you talk about the personnel who are making decisions, I totally don't believe in just, well, it's not working, so it's your fault. That doesn't make sense to me, and I think a lot of teams find themselves in a lot more hot water doing that than the teams that succeed because they made
Samson, how is it not panicky to run out Riley and trade Tyler Hero? Like, you're running Riley out of the organization against his will as the punctuation on his career.
Oh, I'm not. I wouldn't say it's against his will, and that's why I wouldn't say that it would be a firing, Dan. What I said is it's an acknowledgement by the Heat, which are defined as Mickey and Pat and Nick, that it is time to go a different direction with a different voice, and I think that is what they do. And by the way, Bam Adebayo, if you look at his salary, Jeremy, I believe he has 3 years left. And it goes like 50, 51, 59 in the last 3 years of his deal. I hear that you're saying he's all NBA, and I understand there are a lot of overpaid players, but do you have him as that type of player?
I mean, the question is for you. 3 years, $150 million on Hero, 4 years, $210 million.
I mean, to me, I lock up Tyler Hero long term when I feel like the value is going to be delivering, meaning where's the salary cap going? What are the deals that are getting signed for guys that are kind of his comps? Can I get value on that? If not, I don't see a need to commit super long term because I want to remain flexible.
But David was also suggesting that Bam Adebayo's contract is not worth it now at $50 million.
No, Bam is absolutely worth it.
Absolutely.
There's a market for Bam. The reason you don't trade Bam is not because no one wants to give up anything for him. It's because whatever you get back has to be good enough to continue or propagate the organization.
The only way you do that is for something like Giannis.
So yeah,
like,
that's why I say
it.
So if Giannis comes available, there's no part of me that says, well, not Bam. No, Bam's got to go if that's what gets it done because he is of that level. But
Who is that voice when you do that? Like, who was the impersonation?
That's the emotional person. I'm like, but I like my favorite player. I don't want to give him up. Okay. Why is he got to go? Can't we get Giannis and not give up Tyler and Bam?
It's Jeremy.
It's a good question, Zaz. It is.
I'm just making sure.
Where are you as the Heat, though, if you replace Giannis with Bam? You replace Bam with Giannis. You're incremental between
better.
Bam and Giannis.
No, you're better.
Infinitesimally better.
You're better.
Right.
Well, infinitesimal. That's small.
Infinitely better.
That's small.
Sorry.
You did that wrong.
Dan,
Yes, I
don't
did.
worry about that. He's cooking. Let him do it.
Infinitely better. I'm going to tell you why, David, because there's two things. Number one is the simple one that we all recognize. Giannis is a billion times better than Bam. A billion times better, right? And that's not a knock on Bam. That is respect to
That
one
is
of
a
the
knock.
great.
That is a
It's
knock.
not a knock.
Feels a
It's
little
not a
billion,
knock.
a billion times.
A billion
is a
times.
knock. It's a
Dan,
knock.
Dan,
A
would you
billion.
call Shaq a wealthy individual? Would you call Shaq?
Yes.
Okay. Is Bill Gates not a billion times richer than Shaq?
Yeah, but that's
Not
actual.
a billion times, no.
Wow. What?
Like you could have said twice as good as Bam. You went a billion.
He's a billion times better.
All right.
He's a billion times better, and it's not a knock on Bam.
It
Bam
is a knock on. Bam.
Jeremy called Giannis the second best power forward ever before the show today.
Well, that's wrong.
Yeah, he might be. No.
So let's not get sidetracked. Okay, so once we start with that, all right, automatically you're better just because you have first of all, you have a player that commands the respect of the opponents at all times in a way that right now the Heat don't, right? Number two, though, and I know where David's going to go, is like, well, if he's so great, why is Milwaukee where they are? That's a great question. But the answer there is because Milwaukee's front office and Milwaukee's coaching is not as good as Miami's. Miami can find the supporting cast people. This is what I always
Like you
to say.
see those guys on the floor with Giannis last night?
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you right now, David. There's. I used to always say this: the easy part is the hard part, and the hard part is the easy part. The easy part is identifying the stars. He's great. Giannis is great. Okay, we can all see that. But the hard part is there's only like 3 or 4 of those guys. How do you get them? It's so rare. Then the hard part is the easy part. Which is.
What?
Wait,
is
The hard part's the easy part?
What?
Easy is hard.
Hard
Let
is
him-
easy.
Yeah,
right?
let him
so,
go. Come on.
So the
He's
flip
cooking.
side, the flip side of that is right where you say, well, we just got to get the right supporting cast. Well, that should be easy, right? There are millions of these guys everywhere. All these run of the mill basketball players who end up getting mid-level deals and all that. There's so much more of them than there are of the Giannis's, right? Yes, you're right. It's easy. They're everywhere, but it's not because you actually have to do the work to identify, to develop, to give them chances in the right moments, to give them in the right situations, and then you get the right supporting cast. Miami is incredible at that.
They did it around Jimmy Butler, and while he's not billions times better than Jimmy Butler, he's also a good deal better than Jimmy Butler.
And Dan, they've done it throughout the history of this organization. Ike Austin, Vashawn Leonard, right?
All right.
These are guys.
Billy is so done with all of us.
I'm
right
just saying,
now.
like,
Billy is so done with everyone here. He's in his zone. Don't say no.
Well, because Jordan Hudson apparently, according to The Athletic, was to blame for Hard Knocks falling apart at North Carolina.
Billy had no interest in you guys talking about Pat Riley and all the players he's going to get.
No, I
next
got
season.
it. Pat Riley's the greatest of all time. He's never going to leave his job. We got it. And the Heat are just always going to be a 7 seed.
And the Heat are always going to get Giannis. You're already doing that after what happened Sunday.
Well, they are going to get.
That's the hard part. The easy part is saying Giannis is great. The hard part is getting him.
And the easy part is the hard part. The hard part's the easy part,
Right.
Dan. Come on. I got it. I'm here.
I do think there's an intriguing conversation to be had around what it requires to get Giannis if he is available. Because
Oh, sorry. Okay. David, good talking to you. Zaslow's confused by that. That was Chris Cody tasing Jeremy because he talks too much. Zaslow was legitimately
What
confused.
is
He's
happening?
Zaslow thought an electrical current actually ran through our headsets and that there might have been
Are
a
you okay?
shocking of some sort.
I thought it was a fart.
What it...
Fart bear.
And then Dan said, I'm sorry. I thought someone farted too, honestly. I was confused.
We had so much to cover, Dan.
I wanted to talk about what's happening with Amazon and the tariffs. Can you give us a quick minute on that? I know it's not a quick, easy minute on that.
Say no.
Go ahead. You can say
Give me
no.
your best 60 seconds
or
on what's going
all right,
on
or
in
90,
the world.
If you want 90, you got 3 minutes left for that in your review, so you choose.
Let me just try to get through this. And there is a real problem with what's happening in the tariffs, not just in the economy. What's happening is that companies are trying to figure out they're going to pass on the increased expenses to the customer. We are all going to suffer because of the tariffs. The question is, how do you quantify it? Amazon said, we have an idea. We're going to put the amount of money that these tariffs are increasing the cost of your product, and we're going to put it right there on the page. The White House got word of this and they lost their minds. There was a quick phone call and a quick meeting which said, hey, Jeff, here's an idea. You may want to cancel this plan because we're going to crush you because we've lost the 3 legs of the tripod. And as the executive branch, we're now in a position where we can make your life miserable. You want tax on the rich? We're going to do it. Then Amazon 20 minutes later, second statement, hey, that was a division of Amazon. No idea what anyone was talking about. We're not going to identify what the tariffs are doing and the impact they're having on the prices of the products. It was a faster retreat than you saw in the 1700s. And what does it mean? It means that we are now in a place where there is fear that is ruling individuals, corporations, and those who run the corporations, and it will cost us. Make no mistake, the companies that you do business with will not take on the cost of these tariffs by themselves.
It's maddening.
They will pass it
It is
to you.
maddening, though, David, to see these people fight where power resides, and the government has more power than the billionaire of the billionaires, and what ends up happening is we all pay for it. It's really infuriating.
It's guaranteed to happen, and you're watching it happen right now. I have an Amazon package waiting for me, and I'm just seeing how expensive the toilet paper is.
As Bezos and Musk and Trump just fight over the money.
You Amazon toilet paper?
Yes, in bulk.
Jeff, I got bad news.
What are you reviewing? What are you reviewing this week?
I had Meadowlark people, Dan, at the apartment where I'm doing show right now, and they were doing the lights, and they said, listen, is there anything you can do about the brown boxes of tissues, toilet paper, Clorox wipes, and paper towels that were in the way of the lights flashing properly off the walls? And I said, hey, it's a New York apartment. There's nothing I can do about it. And they said, and these are great IT people, they said, why do you have so much stuff? Like, are you worried about the apocalypse? And I said, no, I've always been a bulk guy. I can't deal with the people. There's two types of people, those who run out of toilet paper and those who don't. And I am one who never runs out of toilet paper.
No time for your review. And so that toilet paper is the end of this segment. That is you being wiped from the premises.
Just out of curiosity, what does bulk mean? Like, what are we talking about? How many rolls?
At least 200.
Oh, my God.
That's
multiple big brown boxes of toilet
You
paper.
are afraid of running out of toilet paper.
I have that with soap. I have it with everything.
No, but
It is
that's
a weird.
but that's apocalypse.
Your body, you would die.
That's
you would die
apocalypse
before
hoarding.
you needed to go through 200 rolls of toilet
That's
paper.
apocalypse hoarding.
I am a hoarder of products having nothing to do with the pandemic. This was I never panicked during the pandemic because I always have supplies ready to roll.
When do you redo? Like how low on your 200 before you reorder?
It's a rotate, and when there's a hole in where I store stuff, I refill from the back.
That's why there were shortages during the pandemic.
I mean, he's the worst.
It's him.
He's the worst.
It was all
It
him.
was just him. It was just him.
It's not just me.
Hey, it's Roy, and at the ripe old age of 40, I'm gearing up to learn how to play hockey. I emphasize ripe old age of 40 because I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm tired all the time. I haven't been working out as much. So I'm going to need to build muscle and have the energy to accomplish this goal. What's going to help is this drink that I've been enjoying lately called Huel. It tastes great and has been helping me while exercising. You'll enjoy it too. New customers visit Huel.com/Dan today and use my code DAN to get 15% off your first order plus a free gift. The Huel Black Edition Ready to Drink is high in protein with 35 grams, it's low in sugar, and it has 27 vitamins and minerals to help build the rest of your body. It's better and cheaper than any cup of coffee. Don't feel like cooking? Grab a bottle of Huel. It tastes great, so you'll definitely love it. Be a new customer today and visit Huel.com/Dan. Use code DAN and you'll get 15% off your first order plus a free gift.
Hey, you in the audience, it's Mike. You've been a fan of this show, hopefully, for a long time, and you know how much Miller Lite means to me. This partnership, it's real. It's documented. For almost 20 years, Miller Lite has been a partner of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugatz, and now Miller Lite is celebrating its 50th anniversary. I've had so many great moments with Miller Lite, so many great activations, so many great events presented by Miller Lite, a great partner. Cheers to them. Cheers to 50 incredible years. And for you at home, you know that Miller time always means a good time. From game night to parties with friends or a special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. It's Miller time. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.